Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you feeling? I'm feeling super excited to introduce Professor Tamanna from Delhi University. She is an amazing scholar, professor, and I love her to the moon and back. She is a power of knowledge. I know her because I've seen her thesis for DLIT. I have seen her performance over the years. Of course, we both are, contemporaries, I can say, because we are almost about the same age. I'll not be talking about my age anyhow now. So, here today, she is talking about conflict resolution. It is very important to have knowledge about conflict resolution. I tell you how do resolution for my conflict. What I do is I go inside the shell. I don't have any contacts with them. I go into a silent mode. But I know that is not the best way to do a resolution to the conflict. I know there are better ways of negotiation. I know better ways of things that is available. So today we have Dr. Tamanna here, who is going to take you through the beautiful sessions of our dear conflict resolution. So over to her. Let's give the mantle to her, and I'm super excited for this class. God bless you all, and be all ears, take notes, and also do things that is phenomenal. It is just not knowing, it is also applying. So whatever you learn from her, try applying and show the results to us. Thank you. God bless you. Over to Tamanna.
Okay, okay, okay. So the house, today we are discussing the whole issue about conflict resolution and management, and as far as conflict is concerned, it is something which is perennially there in our lives, and it has been an issue with the philosophers from the time of Plato and Aristotle, and because tensions have been there in societies, and how to resolve them depending upon historical positioning of the particular state, it varies accordingly. So like for example, contemporary, if we come to the contemporary times, Marx is one of the ones who spoke about conflict. So the one of the major questions which he dealt was, what is conflict? So according to him, conflict is something which happens between or producers and the ones who produce. That the tension is between industrialists and the workers. So how should the praxis happen? So according to him, the praxis will happen when the state disappears. But there were others like Talcott Parsons, etc., who spoke about other aspects of conflicts. So conflicts, for example, is natural for any country. For example, India, if we look at, we have gone through several years and centuries of conflicts in the medieval period, for example. Okay, let's just go a bit behind. We had tensions when between Brahmins and Kshatriyas and Shudras and the Vaishyas, and so the tension was that so because of that tension, came about Jainism and Buddhism into for reform. So because against cow slaughter, the slaughter of animals, for example, was happening. So Buddhism and Jainism spoke against that particular aspect, and a reformed form of religion came into being. Then came the medieval period, when the many of the people from Islamic civilizations did a lot of problem for Indian society. So we had Sikhism during that time, which came into being, Sufism, which came into being, speaking about Islam in a particular manner, which is more positive, and which is aligning itself to the Indian ethos. So yeah, then came the British society, which ruined our whole basic structure of the Indian society. And then we had people like, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Vidya Bal Sagar, who spoke against sati, and spoke about widow remarriage, child marriage. And so we had then Mahatma Gandhi, who took us through the whole tension points of this thing. of the Indian society. But what I'm trying to say is tensions exist not just in the public sphere but also in the private sphere. So what is the private sphere? It's your family. And who spoke about family the most were the feminists. Feminists, for example, spoke about the fact that, one of the prominent feminists whom I also studied during my PhD, and is one of her work is one of the most contemporary ones, and she's Susan Moller-Rokin, and she said that the whole concept of justice is irrelevant till the time it does not come down to the family, and women are oppressed in the family, and they need to come up from it. So yeah, so that is the whole thing. So when a dispute arises, often the best course of action is negotiation to resolve the disagreement. So what is negotiation? It is when, for example, attention happens in the public sphere. So like let me just give an example. Let me think loud. For example, if the tension exists between, if suppose a riot situation is there in this state. So what does the state do? The state is going to do is it is going to resolve the particular aspect of resolve. For example, in Africa, the tension existed between whites and the blacks. So what happened after apartheid was that TRC, Truth Reconciliation Commission, was established. So which enabled the people who exploited the blacks to come and say, ask for forgiveness, and this was seen as a healing process. So similarly in India too, we had series of riots in different states, and it's been spoken, for example, in Jammu and Kashmir, that TRC should be formed, or Gujarat, for example, so TRC should be formed. And who is to be blamed is not the issue, but the fact that the people who have suffered, the because of violence, rapes, looting, etc., they need to be taken care of. So what are the goals of negotiation? The goals of negotiation are to produce a solution that all the parties can agree to. So it should not be something which is like which is against a particular community or section of people or individuals. It should be win-win situation for both the parties, the victims and the ones who have victimized. So but the fact is that, when the victimized come into picture, for example, when we are talking about an MBA course, here we are talking about the industrialists and the workers, and how should management theories take this thing forward. So the need for in an MBA course, for example, the need is to work as quickly as possible to find the solution, rather because we are all of us are including China, it's a communist country, but it's a communist capitalist country. So in a capitalist environment, India again, we have Adani, who is the third richest person now in the world. So the need is to work as quickly as possible to find the solution, a win-win situation for the industrialist as well as the worker, and to improve, not hurt, the relationship between groups in conflict. So it should not result in a situation where it increases tensions between the group, but it resolves the problem. So yeah, conflict resolution through the negotiation can be good for all parties involved. Often each side will get more by participating in negotiation than they would be by walking away from it. So the minute we are able to convince the victimized that if you come up and say that you have been oppressed in a certain way, for example, a factory worker comes and says that, my pay is not being paid to me, or I'm being oppressed. I'm working longer hours of the day for a particular industrialist. So, and in that context, you have the communist societies, who have formed the trade union system. So the trade unions are there in every society now. So that's a good thing for us, because they are trying to voice the concern of the people who are oppressed. So people who now are the ones who are going to be taken care of by these unions leaders, who will take the problems of them to the organizers, and then see how the tensions between the two can be resolved. So yeah, so now why should we resolve conflict? So the main goal of negotiation with your opposition is to come to an agreement that benefits all societies, as we have just seen. So some of the good reasons to negotiate are to understand more about those ideas, beliefs, and backgrounds which may be different from your own. So, for example, I come from a certain, we all are culturally embedded. So, for example, lot of our actions unknowingly are because of our cultural moorings. We belong to a certain society. For example, I might be a Hindu. So by accident, many of my decisions will be sorted out by a society or cultural structure which I have been brought up into. But then my education is going to be there, which will help me through this. So, for example, if if I find my religion oppressing a certain section, and I've studied in my books, like this is what's happening in our society, and this is what needs to be done away with, and then I can do that with my education. So in order to resolve a conflict, you'll need to look at the conflict from opposition parties. So, for example, if a tension exists between two communities or two groups, what will happen is we need to empathize. Now, empathize is the new word, it's the new buzzword, the EQ. We have to have that in MBA courses very much. How you empathize with the other person, and you see yourself, you put themselves in your position, and see how, why are they tensed about this particular aspect. So this is going to help you in families as well. So for example, if your husband, for example, puts yourself in your position and sees how much you are putting in to work with your children, your in-laws, their natal family, for example, and then they will understand that why are women stressed out. Why do they have to go to mental health hospitals? So those kind of things are going to be understood very well. Then to find peaceful solution to difficult negotiations. So we need to be peaceful. We can't the answer to riots is not answered by another set of riots. What we need to do is resolve it through peaceful negotiations, and these peaceful negotiations are not through Western ideologies. We have that in India as well. So we need to write papers on that. For example, like for example, Mahatma Gandhi, he resolved the tension very well. Ambedkar, amazing, caste annihilation, which he wrote amazingly. Like it spoke about how Dalits have been oppressed, and how the tension can be resolved. So we have in the Indian ethos this particular aspect that we can resolve the tensions between oppressed and the oppressor. So the oppressor needs to see herself or himself in the context of the oppressed, and the oppressed needs to see herself or himself in the position of the oppressor. So probably a psychological problem is there in the oppressor's mind, that which needs to be taken care of, like, and like they need to be there needs to be a third party negotiation which has to come into being. This is the fourth point, the third party negotiation. Somebody else from the group which does not have, which is somebody who is a mediator, rather than somebody who is a person who is of some who is beneficiary of certain section. So that person should not be a beneficiary. or should be an intellectual. People like you people who are here, who can help resolve tensions. For example, Lakshmi, for example, just now told me about the family. So they can help people in a different in Indian society or Western society and write their own work and see how MBAs can help us understand family issues pretty well. So yeah. And when should we resolve the conflict? Conflict resolution is appropriate for almost any disagreement. Our daily life, we see plenty of these problems between parents and children. Now this is extremely important to understand, that there are tensions now because of social media, etc., between parents and children. Children as young as 1 are hooked on to YouTube and many of the other aspects, Facebook, etc. That's a very suspicious and tension invoking problem, which is happening in our societies. And and as far as I am concerned, as a political philosopher, what concerns me is when children speak about uh, actors and actresses more than they speak about people who are into thought and political philosophy. Because I feel the minute you have philosophy in your blood, you will reject many of the aspects of uh, these kind of structures, because they'll be able to analyze well, they will be able to critically analyze. So what is important is between so the tension is between parents and children, A. B, between co-workers, etc. And the result is that we already have a variety of effective strategies for resolving minor conflicts. But for more serious conflicts and conflicts between groups rather than individuals, you may need additional skills. Now, how should you resolve the conflicts? As far as individuals are concerned, there are different set of way of resolving it. But when it is groups, so between co-workers, or between corporate in the corporates, for example, or in the industries, a different set of uh, uh, this particular aspect is to be taken care of. And yeah, so Thomas Kinman and Model, etc., they and one second, sorry, and Kenneth Thompson and Ralph Kilman spoke about a structure where there are 5 conflict management styles. One is collaborating conflict style. Second is competing conflict style. Third is compromising conflict style. Fourth is accommodating conflict style. And fifth is avoiding conflict style. Now, collaborating conflict style is, as the name suggests, this conflict management style is keen to negotiate a mutually beneficial solution for co-workers. So, you collaborate yourselves with each other and see how the tensions can be resolved. So, Kenneth Thomas has spoken about this particular aspect, and he is one of the prominent MBA management gurus. Um, negotiation is a win-win situation for both the parties. It creates it is creative problem solving. So as far as society is concerned, when we have tensions with this people or groups, for example, we have to have creative problem solving structures, so that people can understand that you have conflicts, and these can be resolved in a way that nobody is a sufferer, everybody gets something out of the cake. Peace ensures everyone feels value and esteemed. So like a particular section of society should not feel oppressed. So, for example, in India, when there are, for example, Dalits are not allowed to enter the temples, for example, or, there are cases, several other kind of cases. So, because of certain, or if suppose a person is extremely poor, even if the person is a Brahmin, he cannot educate his child in a particular school, and because of money he is rejected. The child might be extremely brilliant. So These tensions have to be there should be creative public problem solving. And we have, for example, now the model in Delhi, for example, and many political parties have been working on it, but there are now structures in the government schools which were extremely in a bad situation, that now the Delhi government, the tension was between LG and Delhi government, for example, but like they're talking about teachers being educated in Finland. Finland is one of the Nordic countries, and they are extremely high in human resource intelligence network. So, they have to, teaching student teachers, training teachers. First one which we spoke about, how to manage conflict resolution is collaborating conflict management style, which I just spoke about. And then second is competing conflict management style. The competing conflict style focuses on ensuring that their point is heard. You are heard in that particular room where the discussion on your particular interest is being held, so you are represented in the best way. So this style is ideal for using during an emergency, or crisis, when change needs to happen like quickly. So that is the whole thing, the whole purpose of competing conflict style. So what are the positive traits of conflict management style? They are efficient problem solvers. Secondly, decisive and steadfast during an emergency or crisis, or it drives changes quickly. So, for example, in India during emergency, we had a lot of problems. During Indira Gandhi's time, when the emergency came into picture, and like Jay Prakash Narayan and many of the other people who went to the jail, and imposing because of strict stringent laws in democracy which were being laid, and democracy was being killed. So in such situations, the government should have best what should have done was resolve the tension by having elections as fast as possible, but that was not being done. So for example, in this case, elections is the only way to resolve the problem. So because it's a democracy, it's not an autocracy or a communist regime. In India is a democracy, secular democracy. What we need is that the tensions needs to be resolved through election mode. So if the government had taken that source, and had taken people into confidence, they could have come back into power. But that did not happen. So Indira Gandhi's government had to leave this structure. Now, third is the compromising conflict management style. Now, this, according to Kenneth Thomas, is all about meeting in the middle. So, unlike the collaborative style where negotiations occur to ensure a win-win situation, the compromising style has both parties negotiating to give up some aspects to meet in the middle. So, for example, in the contemporary context, if you look at Russia and Ukraine, there's nothing is happening between the two to resolve the tensions between the two countries, you know, and so both needs to give up certain things of their own to come to a amicable solution, and there should be a third party mediator like India. We have uh, you know good relations with both the countries, majorly, with Ukraine as well as Russia, and India has good partnership with US as well and EU as well. And so I guess India can be a mediator in this particular context, and like how to do that. Then so India, what India can do is open communication between the two, then fair and willing trade-off. How much can you give? For example, if a tension is between a country over the land, so where the border line can be drawn, that is what is to be seen. How to resolve that particular aspect. And it reduces tensions as the conflict is reduced as soon as possible. So it's like within a time frame, these tensions are accommodated. Now the fourth one is accommodating conflict management style. Now what is that? smoothing over and giving in during a disagreement to preserve the relationship and ensure the conflict is resolved quickly is the hallmark of accommodating conflict management. So it focuses on harmony, peace, and eliminating arguments. So arguing is one of the keys which has to be avoided. You can deliberate. We have in political philosophy a term called deliberation. So for example, when tensions exist between states, for example, so what needs to happen is that you have to after all, if you have noticed, I don't know how much have you noticed, but the minute we have leaders interacting with each other, what they do is they get along. The minute they get along well, the chances of negotiation are much more. So personalities have to meet each other. So till the time that doesn't happen, that's a major problem is between the parties. So they will evade conversations, cancel meetings, and quickly change the subject. So this happens when leaders meet whose personalities are not meeting. So in person, you should be able to convince the other party that we are going to, have our, for example, in Ladakh and all, we have tension with China. So they have to decide where the border lines have to be drawn. So, and how should tensions be resolved? And I guess somewhere, um, the minute, for example, if we look at management issues, the power equation has to be resolved. So, if the management is more powerful than the trade union, it is going to result into tensions. What needs to happen is that both management and TU need to be on the same pattern behaving, so that best possible solution to the tension has to be resolved. So, for example, the minute we are talking to people on the basis of power matching power, it results in the better tension, easing of tension. So, example, China once said to us, during this particular time, that we can destroy Mumbai. So Mr. Modi said, you were saying you'll destroy Mumbai, we'll destroy Shanghai. What are you saying? We have extreme power. We are not 1965 India. So we are a very different country, right now. We have power over many of our, we have power in every particular aspect. As far as soft diplomacy is concerned or hard diplomacy is concerned, India is powerful right now. We are the fifth largest GDP producing country. So I guess India needs to. So the minute management and the workers have power which is equitable, the tensions can be resolved in a much amicable way. So yeah. So how should you really negotiate after these particular points? You need to understand the concept of conflict. What is the reason for this particular conflict and why is it happening? So you need to in depth, you have to have a particular set of people who have to be involved into this particular problem, and they need to communicate with the opposition. They have to communicate why are these tensions happening. Brainstorm. you know we need to brainstorm, choose the best resolution. What is best for both the parties has to be seen. Use a third party mediator. Explore alternatives. Cope with stressful situations and pressure tactics. So, no pressure tactics have to be used. This is a peaceful journey. Conflict resolution is a peaceful journey. It has to understand, people have to understand that, till the time peace is not in the head, no tensions can be resolved. So, the fact that, we are trying to explore alternatives, we have to be open to each other's thought process. So for example, management has a certain thought process of providing employment or disowning certain workers. So for these, so we have trade unions, for example, in academics. For example, you have it in Delhi University. I was working there for certain many years, for example. And so you have trade unions there who are taking care of the works of students, as well as they're taking care of the workers of the teachers who are young, who are assistant professors, etc. And so we need to understand the conflict. What we are supposed to do is, what are my interests? First of all, I need to be clear about that fact, that what am I trying to talk, what am I trying to convey to the management? What are they saying? What do I really care about in this conflict? What do I want? What do I need? What are my current hopes, concerns, and fears? You have to be very, we have to be educated in psychology. These subjects are now these subjects are not something which are like alien to certain doctors. I guess it should be done in every house. For example, so that we don't need to visit medical practitioners. We ourselves have to be good enough to understand what our needs are, so it can resolve tension in the family as well as at the workplace. So co-workers, tensions between co-workers, and how does the management resolve it is another issue. So what kind of agreements might we reach? We need to first of all only understand that particular aspect. So a thesis kind of things need to be prepared by homework needs to be done by them. Till the time that doesn't happen, chances of tensions to be rejuvenated is possible. So what kind third party outside the conflict might convince one or the both of us to that a proposed agreement is a fair one. So the third party can convince that this particular problem which is being resolved by the two parties, is a fair one. So it's going to be a win-win situation for both the parties. Then what objective standard might convince us that an agreement is fair? For example, a law and expert opinion, the market value of transaction. So these all things have to be taken care of. That is, what is the market value of the transaction? So the capitalist mode of being is the in thing right now. We do not have communist governments, and communist governments to survive in the contemporary times have to understand this particular fact, that they have to be capitalist. And to survive in this particular world, it's not easy, and competition is the way of being. And it happens not just in workplace, it happens in the family also. So these tensions have to be resolved. And is there a precedent earlier than this which says that this particular agreement is fair? So has there been history in the nation that for example, the cases of sexual harassment? So a woman, for example, a woman worker, it can be a male also. Sexual harassment is not just for women, it's for men as well. So for example, they need to be convinced that we have had a fair trial, and my concern is going to be heard by the management. And the required person who is being spoken about is going to be questioned and can be terminated as well. So there should be certain research to work within the taped words of the particular these people of the management, who which says that they have tackled these issues. And so yeah, so you have to also then see what are the interests of the opposition. What is what they're asking for. If they were in my shoes, what would they have done? So yeah, then for example, interests play an important role in better understanding of conflicts. So often groups waste time bargaining over positions. So for example, your parent groups wants a local high school to change its history book, which does not include, for example, in Indian case, Dalit history, or in the American case, Latin American or Mexican history, or the indigenous American history. So, you might say the only textbook that works for us is the Constitution of India, and that's what Constitution of, sorry, US and or India, and that is final. Now, that is not the best way of resolving the issue. The best way would be to say we are concerned about the underrepresentation of these communities, and the best way would be if these communities are represented well enough in our society and in our books and curricula. So till the time that doesn't happen, our syllabus is incomplete. So this can solve half the problem, because it has been structured in a way which is more polite, empathetic, and it conveys what it wants to. So this particular example will give you an insight into how should we negotiate. Negotiation is an art. So till the time that doesn't happen, chances of negotiations are less. So you have to be you have to understand that why, if they have not included a particular section of society, what is going on in their mind, and then you have a solution to that, their mind structure. Yeah. So you need to communicate with the opposition. Now you need to listen for that. You should have, these are all psychological tips. We are trying to understand that. So their opinions are important to you, because their opinions are the source of your conflict. So if something is important to them, you need to recognize this. And recognizing does not mean agreeing, of course. So you are listening first. First of all, for example, a student and a teacher, if there is a tension, what both of them, for example, students need to do is, first of all, listen. Gain that much knowledge. We need to have that much knowledge of a particular art. And negotiating is an extremely well uh, spoken fact, which is very um, it is extremely very well spoken about, and it is an art in itself. So let everyone participate. So it should not be very that everybody should feel that we are part of the whole negotiation process. So it should not be that some are left and others are, everybody's views matter. So there can be five people who are representing your cause, but there are the fact that people need to understand that all of them are represented well in this particular especially the ones who are oppressed. The ones who, for example, women, if they feel that we are oppressed and it's only men who are being represented, or senior women are represented, then you have to have student representatives as well in the whole structure. And then to the last person, Mill said that the last person, till the time the last individual is not represented, I feel that liberalism is not right up to the mark. So the last person has to be represented, and that should be our aim. Talk about your strong emotions. Let the other side of the stream. Then don't ever react to emotional outbursts. Try an apology instead of yelling back. So that is another way of looking at issues. Be Speak about yourself, not the other party. So you need to represent your fact rather than party. I feel angry to know that reading that my children are reading this old fashioned text. you know how we structure our pattern of questions is extremely important. So language is something which many of the people, philosophers worldwide, linguists, for example, are concerned about how you frame a language, and what is written behind unseen lines. What is written behind the word. So those kind of things, many of the French philosophers have worked on that, and they have read how language can be discriminatory against people, and it can subtly make them feel more oppressed rather than above the board. So be concrete but be flexible. So we need to be flexible, that it's not necessarily the way we want the solution to be should would come back, but work to find a solution for everyone, not just one person. Find a way to make decisions easy rather than make them difficult. So brainstorm possible solutions. Work on coming up with as many as ideas as possible. and young people are extremely brilliant with that particular aspect. And many of us out here, we are extremely young, and full of energy, and they can do all these mental mathematics as far as very fast, and so now choose the best solution which is best for both of the parties. Then as we have just spoken about, use a third party mediator, and setting what the mediator can do. Well, then setting ground rules for you and your opponent to agree upon. That's what, a level playing field being laid, so that nobody is higher or lower in the rung, and everybody has got the equal chance of representing their cause, and understanding has to be laid, and we can get the best authors from such kind of situations. When a certain tension is resolved in a particular amicable way, we can get people who can write on that particular aspect, and like see, how can, for example, housewives can write on, how they have they resolved the tensions between them, and how feminist theory is helping them with this particular aspect of the whole structure. Then creating an appropriate setting for meetings, suggesting possible ways to compromise, being an ear for both sides' angers and fears, and suggesting possible ways to compromise, listening to both sides, writing the draft of your agreement, as we were just talking about, having people as people as media authors, people who do PhDs on this particular aspect. So rise of a good work is generally laid in your own homes. If you look around, you'll see a lot of things which are like important, and which are like which are based on the tensions which exist in family, and then you see the world from that prism. Yeah. So if you already have decided on the your best alternative, you have nothing to fear. You can walk away at any time and go that route instead. Think about everything that you can do, and that your mediator can do. Although you may be less powerful, at least you will be negotiating with all available information. So then my opponent won't budge. This is another scenario. I'm just talking about scenarios. What can happen when and the tensions are being resolved between the parties. So it can happen the opponent is a more powerful, then opponent might not budge. Then in summary, for example, if we say in conflict resolution, the best solution is a solution that best is best for both sides. Of course, that's not always possible to find, but you should use all your resources to solve the conflict as fast as possible. And the takeaways can be: conflict resolution is the process of resolving disagreements and coming up with solutions that are mutually agreeable to multiple parties, not just two parties, but multiple parties. So, yeah, I guess I'll stop here, and over to Dr. Vijaya. If any questions are there, or
Thank you, Dr. Tamanna Khosla. I'm from Malaysia.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. It's a new experience for me. Although I'm in Malaysia, but I'm listening to the political in India. It's a new experience for me, and I'm glad to know you also.
Thank you.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting, ma'am, and I'm very, very thankful to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
It is really interesting, Tamanna, and it is going to be, a series. So I'm really glad. People who started, please be in every series, every class, so that we can do something, collectively. Because sometimes the resolutions come when we are with a calm mind and sitting and thinking out of the box. So I would recommend and request each one of you present today to be there for all the series of classes. Tamanna is going to do 6 classes. So we will keep you posted on which are the days she is doing. So you can also be there. And I'm glad that we started this program exclusively for executive MBA, but then we thought conflict resolution is a subject which has to be known to the world, because all of us are going one or other conflict, be it in relationships, be it in properties, and be it in emotions. Because all this can happen only with our own people. It can't happen with somebody who's sitting in Nepal or somebody who's sitting in Bangladesh or somebody whom we don't know. Conflicts are always within our own family or extended family. So like I said, when at the start of the meeting, my conflict resolution style is to go inside the shell, but that is not the way. We should have arbitration, we should have people, we should have the third party intervention and resolve things, because time is running. Time and tide waits for none. And the biggest challenge India is facing is most of the cases are in courts for many, many years. Be it property cases, be it other domestic cases, divorce cases. So much emotions go through and time is lost. And when we have something in common, that value is lost. If it is property, the ownership is lost. If it is children, the children's emotion, which is the most important property in the world, that is lost. So conflict is something which we have to take it seriously. We have to resolve the conflict, restart our lives, and try and be present for ourselves. Because I tell, even if you get 1 crore of rupees, if it is not going to give peace of mind, it's not worth it. Your mental balance is so important. Spend time with people who are good to your mental health. It's not worth fighting for, because it's a temporary life. So we have to resolve. To resolve, we need to react. To react, we need to take action. So all that should be in right proportions. And what I loved about Tamanna today is, she was saying, when you're resolving a conflict, talk about you talk about you and not the other person. Because most of us don't do that. It is so very easy for us to get challenged in the emotion and talk about what the other person is reflecting. Instead of that, if we start reflecting what we are, I think we will be able to find a solution for all that we are going through. So with this, I want to say this was a fantastic start. Tamanna, a big round of applause to you. You did a great job. We are super powerful and super happy. I'll stop the recording so that, anybody has any personal questions, you can ask her and it will not go out of the room. Should that be okay?
Yes, of
because
course.
we have the last 10 minutes now. Yeah. So I'm stopping the recording so that the people can ask personal questions if you have. Is that okay? So thank you very much for the session 1. We will give you a link for this session so that people can go through this. So now we are heading to question and answer, which should be personal. So that's not been recorded. Now the recording is going to be stopped. Let us work on conflict resolution. All that I want to say is, if you get a chance to be kind or correct, choose kindness. It's worth it. So peace is more powerful. Let us spread peace. Let us spread love. And let us do what it takes to be a happy human being. So there are little things in life which makes us happy. A hug, a share, a friend, a small ice cream. It could be anything. Start enjoying the little happiness of life and have a beautiful life, resolving all your conflicts. So thank you so much. Sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. God bless you. Let's meet in one more session. Until then, have your time of, time with the expert. I'm stopping the recording. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Fatima from Saudi Arabia.
Fatima,
yes, please.
Just a moment. I will stop the recording. Or you're okay if it is recorded?
No, it's better to stop, I guess.
Yeah, I will
can
do
be
that.
informal,
Just
right?
give me a moment. I will stop. So hi everybody. We are just giving one closure to what Professor Tamanna spoke. So out of the experience I have, I've been in joint family for 42 years, 20 years in my house and 22 years in my in-laws house. Collectively, I have 42 years of experience of being with people. So I have come up with 10 points, which is very simple, which can be adaptable. If you know this, you realize conflict can be resolved. Because I realized, see, now I live in a unit family and I know what are the mistakes I did. You cannot undo anything. Only thing is, you can resolve to be a better person in the future, because past is the spilled milk, future is uncertain. So what we have is the present, which is gold. So first thing is, don't take anybody for granted. Don't take anything or any situation for granted. Point number one. Point number two, the perspectives will change. If one person dislikes you, he will recruit the whole of the people and start propagating dislike everywhere. So be aware of this. And you know what? They themselves won't like each other. That's a different story altogether. And please be silent, because silence cannot be misinterpreted or misquoted. When we say something to someone, they make it grapevine. They will add, tadka to it. They will add content to it and say. So always prefer to be silent. You have experienced something and you want to give it to people, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay? If the fire is going to hurt, if I touch the fire, it's going to hurt. Even if you touch the fire, it's going to hurt. Okay? It's a known fact. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I'm going to give you 10 points which I have realized over my life. You know what? I got married when I was 22 years old. So it was the marriage of my choice. You know, I live my life by choice, by design. So I'm a design thinker right from the beginning of my life. So when I fell in love, I was only 17 years old. I don't know how much 17-year-old can understand religion, understand emotions, understand what the life has to offer. The happiness for me was, I'm actually here quoting only my life and my perceptions. I have nothing to do. It's a disclaimer. It worked for me. I am not going to vouch that it's going to work for you or anybody else. But this is the attributes that I picked up, and the attributes might help you. That I can definitely be sure of. So when I was in a joint family, I was trading again for a joint family. You know, it was such a fun to meet my future in-laws. You know, my father-in-law asked me, like, only one thing. He said, will you prefer a joint family or will you prefer a unit family? See, I was very clear. When I fell in love, I was 17 years old. But when I got married, I was 22 years old. So when I was in college, I mean, second PUC, I was very clear. My determination of life is education. I want to change the world through education. So, my future husband, I always keep saying in every forum, my husband's name is Abdul Alim Mohammad Ashraf, 4 names, but my one and only husband. So the thing is, I was very clear to him what I really want to do with my life. Because I was a child who was born by chance, not by choice. My mother had 4 children, and I was born in a period which was not very lucrative for her. She lost her family. She lost a lot of wealth. That is the time I showed up. So she always had a feeling that I was born and then everything happened for her. Adi Masatla vera porna. I was born in August, so it was very inauspicious to be born in that month with a big nose, especially a girl child, isn't it? So she was not very happy. So I was not in an environment which was acceptable. People didn't accept me like that because my brothers and sisters were well off, and I was not that very smart. So it was always, I was looking for recognition. I was always looking for stuff. So when I went to my dad, telling that, Dad, I want to lead a class life, he was my savior. He was my hero. He always told me, Vijay, if you want to lead a class life, the only way is education. If you're educated, people can lead a class life. Wealth can't give it. Only your health and happiness and your education will give you joy, which is something which cannot be snatched away from you. Your wealth can be snatched away. Your materialistic possessions can be snatched away. But what you build internally, nobody can snatch. So I was very clear. I wanted to be a very well-educated person. So I was talking to my Putri about it. I told him, see, I am a person who is very clear. I have blinders. I want to be well-educated. He said, granted, you can be well educated. What's the point? I said, you belong to a different religion. I belong to a different religion. What are we going to do? How are we going to name our children? What are we going to give a name? He is a biker. So he said, we will name them Kawasaki, Suzuki, Hero, Honda, anything. It's not about the religion. 5 years we had courtship, and behavior is something which, like I said, we become so very connected to a person, and we start taking a person for granted, isn't it? This is what we were talking about. So when the last year, when all his siblings were married, he took me to his home and he introduced me to his dad and mom. That is the time my father-in-law asked me, would you prefer being in a joint family? I said, sir, the goal of my life is that I want to be an educationist. I will not be able to handle family. I definitely can't handle family. I want to study. I want to change this world. My, passion in life is to spread education excellence to the entire earth through innovative and creative teaching methodologies. So that is why I learn brain power. That is why I learn international methodologies. That is why I'm the founder director of Godwin Academy. That is why I'm the founder president of St. Mother Theresa University. All that is because I want to do something different in education. So when I got married, I was granted. He said, you don't have to do anything at home. All that you have to do is whatever education you want to pursue, whatever you want to do, you do. At home, friend, I have my wife. I have my other two daughters-in-law who will take care of things. It is you, it's your kitty. I mean, your department is ensuring that you study and make the children of the family well educated. So our goals were very clear. Like I said, it's like an organization. It's like an institution. I went into a joint family where I don't know their culture. I don't know their language. I don't know what they properly eat, because I come from a Saiva Pillai family. So it's we are not very used to non-veg. Of course, we only thing we know as non-veg is chicken and nothing else. So my father-in-law took all the effort to show me how you eat, other parts of the goat, and how you do it, how you eat, how you pray, how you do things and all that. Because see, I was very clear. I wanted to give a direction to my children. I didn't want them to be half Muslim and half Hindu, mother talking Tamil and father talking Urdu. You go nowhere in life, and you don't allow the children also to go nowhere in life. You are a confused lot, you make the children also confused. So I was very clear, my children will be brought up in Islamic way. Very clear right from day one. And you know what? We did a registered marriage as well as we did Islamic marriage, because I had to go into their house. And again, there is something called systems. In their systems, a Muslim cannot marry a non-Muslim. It's called illegitimate, it seems. So I said, see, I am not bothered about papers. I'm not bothered about things. I am bothered about my goals. If you want to have ghee, and if the ghee has gone to the end of the bottle, what do? You cannot say, I will have a straight spoon and only then I'll have. Is it possible even? So you should tweet some things, and you have to allow others to tweet something so that you are able to do something good. So I told my father-in-law, you take care of my children. You name them. You make them educated. You make them disciplined. Because that I can't expect in my house. So very clearly, they, welcomed me with both the hands. I got into the joint family. And then my work was only to get into education. So I had done my diploma in business administration. I stood second for the college. And I was doing BCom. I had one subject pending, law. So when I was pregnant also, I ensured that I completed my law. I completed my bachelor in commerce. Then I immediately gave entrance for MBA, and I joined MBA. With MBA, I joined 5 courses like abacus, calligraphy, Vedic maths, computers, and that time general knowledge was very powerful. So I joined a course called Genius General Knowledge. So what I did is I lived my life for 20 years in tight packed compartments of how I want to enhance my knowledge. So MBA, I stood 4.5 in Indira Gandhi Open University. Then I joined MCOM. I stood 5th rank for the state of Karnataka year 2006. And I joined as a professor in the college where I studied, I taught. So home front, it was all good because see, it was taken care by my in-laws. 21 people were there. So they were there to take care of my children, send them to school, be there for them, cook, clean, and all that. All that I had to do is I have to go home and concentrate which child has to go to which school. And all the children in the school, all the children in the family are my family only, right? I used to take tuitions in the evening, 5 to 8 tuitions were definite. I used to take all the children from the locality. 40 students used to come to our house and then take tuitions, all the subjects, Hindi, Kannada, Maths, Sanskrit, name the subject, I will do it. So I learned, I started giving tuitions, and then I joined Accenture as a consultant and Infosys as a coach. Saturday, Sundays used to be free. I used to invest in learning lifetime valuable skills. So it went on and on. I got married on 9/9/99, and it went on and on and on till 2019, December 2nd. So till 99 to 19, December, 20 years, I was in a joint family. So I knew the pros and cons. So if the question someone asked me just now was, are you a Muslim? Are you a Christian? Are you a Hindu, or what you are? So let me tell you what I am. First of all, I want to make it very clear to all of you, I am a global humanitarian. I was a born Hindu. I married a Muslim with purpose, and I am pursuing my dream at St. Mother Teresa University. Like I say, it is never about religion. It is about spirituality. I believe in the power of Almighty. I call it as the Almighty's total surrender. So I have surrendered my life to my Almighty, because to Him we belong and to Him we shall return. So I'm very clear with what it is. Vasanta ma'am knows how, I go to our president's house to do Ayappa thing. I go everywhere. Malaysia, we go to Murugan Temple. We go everywhere. It is not we are seeking God. We are not seeking God. God is already there. We are not seeking anything because we have already submitted ourselves to the Almighty. So there is nothing over and above Him. There is only one God. He is of different names. You can call Him Allah, Isa, Sai, whatever you want. But all of us are bye-bye. All of us are brothers and sisters. For me, the spiritual spirit is very important. Prayers are my only power. I keep praying at 11:11. When I pray in unity gong. I include all the religions in prayer. Not one, not two. All the religions which I know, I include in my prayer. Whatever I do, I believe that there is one God who is the Almighty. You don't have to have a name for it. He doesn't need a name because He is the only one. There is nothing above Him. There is nothing below Him. It is Him. You can call Him whatever names you want. See, if they call me Vijaya Saraswathy, it's me only, no? If they call me Sumaya Ashraf, it's me only. If they call me Sara, it is me only. My children call me Mummy, it's me only. They call me founder of Mother Teresa University, it's me only. It's me. So when me is not my name. Me is what I'm made of. So I am made of blood, bone and flesh. Cut me into pieces and break my bones. You will find in every cell that I predict, I preach Almighty's total. It is Almighty. That is it. So I'm sure all your doubts are cleared. I'm happy I'm doing this video because I wanted to tell people, people have a lot of confusions. Does she belong to Hinduism? Does she belong to Christianity? Does she belong to Muslim? I think she married Ashraf, so she converted from Islam to, from Hinduism to Islam. It's never conversion, it's reversion. Whatever you are, you know God better when you are there. Then she has started St. Mother Teresa University. I think she came away to Christianity. She didn't want Hinduism. She didn't want Muslim. She didn't want to be a Muslim. She became something different. No. I go to my, Jainism friends. We speak about Michami Dukadam forgiveness. It doesn't mean that I became a Jain. I speak about eightfold parts of Buddha: right values, right intention, right speech, right attitudes, right efforts, right lifestyle, right concentration, right meditation. It doesn't make me a Buddhist, isn't it? Buddha had his own challenges. His wife itself had challenge with him when he took away, enlightenment. All of us are going through our own challenges, love. Let us not name or label ourselves something. Let us be that love we want to see in the world. Let us be the kindness we want to see in the world. So I would like to say freedom for all for freedom. It's never about religion. It's always about spirituality, where you belong. Okay, so that's all. I think I answered your question. Let me tell you this 10 points, which is very important because I stayed in the joint family for so many years. I have picked up this nuggets in experience. This is experience. It worked for me. It may not work for you. But then this is a time-tested methodology. So let me tell you, the first thing is don't take anybody for granted. Don't take any situation or anything for granted. Everything will change. Change is very constant. Okay, now she is saying respect for my intellectual and spiritual thing. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing the experience. I love you, girl. Thank you. I also feel very good sharing it. Okay, so the thing is, don't take anything for granted. The people who were for you today may not be there for you today. The bell is ringing. So you can also believe it is, you cannot say this is superstition. Okay, if bell rings, that means universe is accepting something which you are saying. If our ancestors would have told something, they would have meant it, right? They would have felt it. That's why they are saying. See, they used to say, do namaste, there is no touch. Today we have COVID, so we don't want to touch anybody, so we say namaste. We want to avoid touch. They used to say, wash your legs and go inside. Now we want to wash our legs and go. They used to say, be careful about your breath. Now today we want to wear mask. So each of the religion had something and they were preaching peace, and that we are the ones who didn't give heed, telling that we are following the West, only 400, 500 years old. We are billions of years old, isn't it? We are one of the oldest civilization, Indus Valley civilization, Indians, isn't it? So we know more of yoga, 5,400 postures we have. Why do you give it to Hinduism? It is never for Hinduism. Whoever has a body is a yogi, isn't it? Why do you stamp a religion for everything and anything? Let's not do it. Let's be who we are. We are very powerful. Together we are powerful. That if we realize, India is the super duper powerful country. We will never be called developing. We will be the developed country. People are dividing and ruling us. Okay. So let us talk about conflict resolution. So the first thing is don't take any situation or anything for granted. The second thing is the perceptives can change. The perception of what I had about you yesterday can change today. See, Microsoft, cut so much jobs today, 1,200 jobs or something. When they took them in, they would have done 7 to 8 interviews, group discussion and all that. But when they, removed them, do you think they had time to do a wind-up call? They just received an email that you are no more. Your position is obsolete. You got it. So the perception can change. The only thing that is sure is change. So that is the second one. The third one, very important thing. Do not talk to anybody who's in relation with your property or with your who are sharing separately. Because somebody who is having a hidden agenda, what they will do is they won't like you. They will recruit a team to unlike you, dislike you. And the best part is they themselves won't like each other. And they will start gossiping. Believe me, it happens. Believe me, it happens. All of them have hidden agendas. All of them. So be very careful where you stand. Okay. See, it is not about them. It is about you. Okay. So don't make yourself available for gossip. How do you do that? The fourth point is be silent. Because silence can never be misinterpreted or misquoted. Only if you talk to them, they will say that you said this, you said this, you said this, right? But if you don't talk only, what is there for them to cook? See, you need a batter to cook dosa, isn't it? If you don't have a batter, from where will you cook dosa? Lakshmi, if you are asking me something, I can help you. You have something to ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
go.
ma'am. I want you to repeat the third point once again.
I said silence is golden. Don't speak to somebody alone. You know, like suppose you have a property, 4 people are there, 4 brothers are there. So you're talking to one of the co-sister about something. Okay, you're telling, see, it didn't happen the way it happened. I'm very frustrated or something. You know what she will do? She will add points for that. She will say, Lakshmi
Yes,
said
yes.
this, and this. Which you didn't say,
One
which you
will
didn't
become
do also.
100. Yeah, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, don't
Got
talk.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Silence. Because silence cannot be misinterpreted or misquoted. Did you get that?
Fine. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is one more. So perception can change. Don't think anything for granted. Okay. And though silence is golden, don't talk to anybody. I mean, don't talk to anybody means who are in relation with you in something. Maybe property, or maybe, you're wanting to share some materialistic thing and they are wanting a bigger share or whatever. Because that's what is happening in India, isn't it? That's what is happening. Everywhere you have problems with sharing only. And we will not have problems with somebody who's sitting in Nepal, Bangladesh, Malaysia, isn't it? You will have problems with your own siblings, with your own sharing, with your own blood. And you know who will put you down? It's them only. It will be always them only. So you should be very careful. And do you think you can live a life without them? You can't. God has not given you a choice, madam. He has given us a family, and that will remain our family till we live. So we have to take corrective action and become the bigger person. Okay, how do you become a bigger person? Leave everything. Restart. Don't do anything which will cost you peace. If it is not giving you mental happiness, if it is not giving you peace of mind, even if it is crores of rupees, it's not worth it. Kick it out. Kick out from your life and have a happy life. You want very minimal for being a happy life, for leading a happy life. Don't get into the tug of war. It's not worth it. You be the bigger person. Like I said, I don't know whether that's recorded or not, but I want to repeat. See, if you get a chance to be kind or correct, choose kindness. Choose peace. Spend more time with the people who are useful for your mental peace. Because see, you're living a life. We all have to earn. We're all going to job. We all want money at the end of the day in the bank. Having said that, the money what you leave in the bank at the end of your breath, that means the day you're going to die, because nobody knows who's going to die when. If I die today, what is in the bank does not belongs to me. That's it. No, it doesn't belong to me. Whatever I ate belongs to me. Whatever I wore belongs to me. Wherever I traveled belongs to me. Whatever is my education belongs to me. My knowledge belongs to me. My talent belongs to me. And I will take it with me. So invest in experiences. Go to a 5-star hotel. If you have not been, be in a 5-star hotel. Enjoy that. Go and have an experience of a different country, different state. Living is different from earning. Okay, am I there? We are still not out of topic. I'm in the topic. Okay. So what are the 4 points you got, right?
I am listening very actively, madam. Good evening, madam.
Oh, thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar. I will be there for tomorrow, your program.
Yes. Hearty welcome, madam.
This is our professor, Rajesh Kunnurji, amazing professor, and he is very soon going to become the vice chancellor. He is, we all are one team. We keep talking, we keep encouraging people to talk, share ideas. Thanks for being there, sir. So thanks for listening actively as well. So
Thank you, madam.
What is the 5th point for conflict resolution? Like what Tamanna said. Okay. Only give your ideas, only give your, whatever plans you have made through an arbitrator or through a will. Don't talk about your points just like that in the flowing air. Don't allow anybody to know your plans. They can be your own kith and kin. They can be your own blood. But if they are the beneficiary in the program, don't talk to them. Talk to an arbitrator. Talk to somebody who is a common friend for all of us. Somebody who will be like what she exactly said. Somebody who will be a mediator. Who doesn't have any say, will not have any worth in the property. He will be outside, but he will be a person who is supposed to be a good person. See, why people created religion, why people created discipline, why people created rules? Because people will see that the rules are broken. There is somebody who will help us follow these guidelines and lead a good life. But some will be thugs. Whatever you do, no, they will remain thugs. They will sweet talk you in front of you, but then behind the scenes, they will be the most, shaded character. Be very careful with all of them. Don't allow them to come into your inner circle. Your inner circle should be very safe. There was a girl who got married and her in-laws were very strict and they were very challenging and she was facing a lot of trouble. They were not even allowing her to call her mother and father. So one fine day, it was her happy birthday. So they allowed her to call. When she called, her mother asked, "How are you? How is the house? Is it raining?" So she said, raining means crying. Like she's asking, what is the problem you're facing? That's the code word. So she said, it's raining everywhere. So the mother asked, is it raining on your bed? The house is leaking, but is the rain falling on your bed? House is leaking, water is flowing everywhere, water is getting in everywhere. But she asked, is the water falling on your bed? She said, no. Then she said, you are safe, I'm happy, don't worry, I'll call you on next birthday. You got the message? If your husband is with you, if your spouse is with you, you have the world with you.
True.
He is the biggest strength. Don't underestimate him. Don't underestimate him. So that is what you have to do. What you have to do is you have to ensure that you have a very good connection and very good intention with your husband, because 90% of our problems will be solved. Somebody is on their mic. Is it okay? All good? So what is the fifth point? Your spouse is your magic wand. Who's your magic wand? Your spouse. Because it is with him you have to live your life. Your children will study, they will have their family, they will go away. Your in-laws, it's like a train. They will all travel. When their compartment comes, they will get down and go away, isn't it? They will get down and go away. If your spouse is not there, it is you. You are responsible. You are the spouse. You are the, you should have that feeling, I am enough. When Buddha left for enlightenment, Yashodhara was having the smallest child, very infant, and he walked out of her marriage. When he became Buddha and when he came back to see her one day, after many, many years, she asked him, what do people call you? He said, Buddha. Buddha means what? Enlightened one. So he told her, everybody is saying Yashodhara is so beautiful, she is so well. Why don't she get married again? She said, I am enough. I had a child, I have a child, I'm a complete woman. I have known men. Thank you very much. God bless you. I'm enough. So that word, I am enough, you should never forget. I am enough. Don't confide anything to anybody. You are allowed to have secrets. It's your life. Do what makes you happy. You don't have to share every bit of what you are to your spouse. You don't have to ask him every bit of what he is to you. Have a cushion. Have respect for each other. Have love for each other. And share only what you have to share. You don't have to become, monk by sharing everything with everyone. You should know. See, one test you keep. If I tell this to my mummy, will she be happy or not? If she will not be happy, don't tell it to anybody. All of us have a Johari window, Google Johari window. There is a known self, unknown self, known to others, unknown to others. Okay? Known to you, unknown to others. So there is a Johari window. Everybody doesn't have to know everything. Everybody doesn't have to know what it is, your life. Okay? So this is very important point. Even if it is your husband, don't share all that secrets. You can have dark secrets. You can have Victoria's secret. You can have any secret you want. All that matters is you should be happy. You should be happy. Know your limits, know your limitations. Beware and be aware. No attachment with detachment. You become aware of attachment with detachment. Am I there? How many points over?
5.
5 points.
So I have 5 minutes and I have for other 5 points. I will quickly share it so that you can have a happy Sunday. Okay. So 5 points are very important. This is your external point. Okay. This is outline. Okay. Outline that you have to take care. You're not talking anything against your, extended family. You're not doing anything. Take care of your spouse. Maintain silence. Yeah. Always work on an arbitrator if it is property matters and all that stuff. Now the 5 internal matters, which is you. For conflict resolution. It's you.
5.
Yeah, this is internal. See, there people were involved, right? You and somebody else. Okay. Correct. You and your extended family. You and your property. You and your children. You and your husband. You and your work. Correct. There were people around. Yes or not?
Yes.
But that is your external circle. Now I'm talking about your internal 5 points, which are very important. Write this in book. Be a lifelong learner.
Be a
lifelong learner. You are sitting in this class, that itself calls for a big applause because you are wanting to learn something. Be a lifelong learner. It could be a hobby. It could be a language. It could be a art. It could be anything. It could be anything. Be a lifelong learner. Every year, invest in learning something new. You can learn driving. You can learn cooking. You can learn yoga. You can learn a language. You can learn how to look beautiful, makeup. You don't have to wear makeup to learn makeup. Learning is different, doing is different. But learn. Because if you learn, you have no time to give your feet to your head. Think about, this guy did this, that guy did that, this lady told this, that lady told this. No. You have 24 hours, 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work. Other 8 hours, you have 2 hours you are going to invest in your self-development. So be a lifelong learner. This is an important point for conflict resolution. Because if your mind is worrying about something, it will keep worrying and worrying. See, if I say a joke one time, you'll laugh. Second time, you'll laugh. If I say the same joke, will you laugh third time?
No.
Then, if for the same problem, why do you worry again and again and again? See, a problem should have a solution. Every challenge will come with a solution. You have to find a solution. If you don't find, indecision also is a decision. Nature will take care of itself. You don't bother. You should know which problem is external, which problem is internal. The problem which can be changed by you. The problem which you can't change. Imagine somebody is in your extended family is a drunkard. He drinks. What can you do about it? Is it your problem? Did you get into that family to help him? Are you a counselor? None of our business. Our business is to take care of our material thing. We have to be careful. We have to see that we are not impacted or our children are not impacted by us. That is possible by us. But we cannot go and correct that person who's wrong. None of our business. You got it? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
external factor? What
Yes,
is
ma'am.
internal? What is controlled by you? What cannot be controlled by you? You should be very clear. Be a lifelong learner. Second thing is, you have to do a SWOT analysis. Your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, your threat. What is your strength? What is your weakness? What is your opportunity? What is your threat? So your strength, your education, you are a lifelong learner. Strength, your children. Strength, your husband. What is the weakness? You're talking or cooking or giving something to many people. Try how to convert your weakness into strength. Invest your time in your learning. Don't bother about people. Don't gossip. Don't take a phone and call somebody unnecessarily. Don't talk to anybody unnecessarily.
Yeah. On my
Yeah.
phone.
Don't talk unnecessarily to anybody. Be a lifelong learner. Do your SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. What is your threat? What is your opportunity? Always concentrate on strength and opportunity, not on weakness and threat. Got it? Third one, dress well. Always dress well. Be well groomed. You should brush your teeth well. You have to, polish your face. Have a good hair. Wear a good dress. Very important. Dress yourself well. Dress for your next job, not for this job. Always give importance to cleanliness and grooming. Third one. Fourth one, very important. Be spiritual. Don't be regional, religion wise. Be spiritual. For everything, do a prayer. Ask God to help you. And the last one will make you very happy. Do charity. Do something for difference in somebody's life. 50 rupees. Give it to somebody whom you don't even know on the road. Yeah. Do small charities. Buy a food for somebody.